When leadership is accused, leading with integrity when relationships break down. Good leadership is often judged by how we inspire people when things are going well. But I believe the greatest test of leadership is not how we lead in success, it is how we lead when trust breaks down. Most leaders will eventually experience a difficult employment relationship. An employee may leave feeling deeply dissatisfied. Allegations may be made, emotions may run high, long emails may be sent, others may be copied into correspondence. Sometimes the account presented by one person differs significantly from the evidence held by the organization. The question is not, how do I prove I am right? The question is, how do I continue to lead with integrity? Research tells us something important about workplace conflict. It rarely begins with one dramatic event. It is usually the endpoint of a deteriorating relationship where trust has broken down. Karen Jen's work on organizational conflict shows that once conflict becomes relational rather than task focused, communication often shifts from solving problems to defending positions. Facts become intertwined with emotion, and people may interpret the same events very differently. That is why leaders must resist becoming emotionally invested in defending themselves. Our responsibility is not to win every argument, it is to ensure every decision is fair, evidence based, and professionally defensible. Amy Edmondson reminds us that psychological safety in organizations encourage people to raise concerns. That means allegations should never be dismissed simply because they are uncomfortable. Every concern deserves to be considered. However, listening carefully is not the same as accepting every claim as fact. Fair leadership requires openness to concerns and commitment to evidence. This is where many organizations succeed or fail. When allegations arise, some leaders become defensive, others become angry, some attempt to persuade everyone that the allegations are untrue. Yet research on procedural justice by Jason Colquitt consistently shows that people judge organizations not by outcomes but by the fairness of the process used to reach those outcomes. So what should leaders actually do in this situation? At Ascend, we describe this through 6 leadership disciplines. Anticipate. Good documentation is not bureaucracy, it is organizational memory. Accurate records, clear supervision notes, and transparent decisions protects everyone. Strategise. Separate evidence from emotion. Ask, what do we know? What can we verify? What remains uncertain? Decisions should be driven by facts, not by frustration. Cultivate. Protect the wider team. Conflict involving one individual should not destabilize an entire service. Leaders have a responsibility to preserve morale, professionalism, and psychological safety for everyone else. Execute. Follow policy consistently, investigate concerns properly, verify information objectively, communicate professionally, because consistency builds credibility. Navigate. Accept that not everyone will agree with the outcome. Some people will leave believing they have been treated unfairly, even when an organization has followed a fair and transparent process. Leaders cannot control another person's narrative. They can control whether their own actions withstand scrutiny. Develop. Every difficult case should strengthen relationship. Ask, what did we learn? Could communication have been clearer? Are our systems strong enough? What would we improve next time? One of the most difficult lessons in leadership is recognizing that integrity is not measured by whether everyone believes you. Integrity is measured by whether your conduct remains consistent when your credibility is challenged. As leaders, we also need humility. We should always be willing to examine whether our own practice contributed to the conflict. None of us leads perfectly. Reflecting on our own actions is a mark of maturity, not weakness. But reflection is different from accepting allegations uncritically. Responsible leadership examines evidence honestly and learns where improvement is required. There is another lesson here. Leaders sometimes feel compelled to answer every accusation. In reality, excessive self-defense can prolong conflict rather than resolve it. The strongest response is often the quiet confidence of a fair process. Documentation, evidence, consistency, and respect, these are stronger than endless arguments. Ascent teaches that leadership is fundamentally an investment in trust. Trust is not preserved by proving ourselves right. It is preserved by acting in ways that remain ethical, transparent, and consistent even under pressure. So if you ever find yourself leading through conflict, remember this. Do not allow another person's anger to determine your leadership standard. Do not allow allegations to replace evidence. Do not allow emotion to replace process. And never allow difficult relationships to lower the standard by which you lead. Because in the end, the quality of leadership is not measured by whether every employee that leaves the organization leaves happy. It is measured by whether every employee is treated fairly, respectfully, and consistently, even when the relationships break down. Thank you.